Welcome to the news desk at Oxford Spires Academy. Today is Thursday the 19th of March 2015 and we have a special BBC School News Report. My name is Emily.
And my name is Rafi. This morning our BBC school reporters met early to start work on our 2015 news report.
BBC School Report, reporting live from Oxford Spires Academy. Yay!
Yeah.
For the past few weeks, school reporters have been busily preparing for today, researching stories and conducting interviews about local events and issues.
Mrs. Croft, head teacher at Oxford Spires, came along to see how we were getting on.
Please tell us why you think BBC School Report is a great opportunity for all of us.
It is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for students to get involved in doing something that is about a career, a real life experience in it. I know the students have fed back to us that they find that really valuable. I think it's also really important for your confidence. Talking is a great way of understanding and of a soft skill that's so important in life in general. And yeah, it's a good fun learning experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Good.
This week has been one of our most successful at Oxford Spires and we're pleased to report a number of triumphs in county and national competitions. Firstly, Oxford Spires won the Churchill Blending Public Speaking Competition on Tuesday, beating 10 other schools, including Cheltenham Ladies College and Abingdon School. Ilona, Annie and Francis had their finest hour delivering their speech on the evolution of the English language.
Hello, this is Shara reporting for BBC School Report. I am here with Ilona to talk about her winning the Blenheim Palace competition. Congratulations on your win, that was amazing. How did you feel?
I felt delighted because there was a lot of schools, especially there were some private schools who are very well known and stuff, so it's nice to be there.
Okay, can you tell us more about your team?
So I was on a team with Annie and Francis, who were the speakers, and we were assisted by some researchers.
What did it feel like giving a speech in a place where Churchill was born and spoke?
Yeah, it was really cool because it was a beautiful room. It was mirrored each end, and then there were like ruffled curtains, and it was huge, and it was a lovely space. So, yeah.
This year marks 50 years since Churchill's death and 75 since he became Prime Minister. Our reporter spoke to the head of the education at Blenheim Palace, Karen Wiseman.
Why did you decide to run Churchill public speaking competition at Blenheim Palace? And why do you think that Churchill thought that public speaking was so important?
We decided to run it because we thought it was such an important skill for pupils and students of all ages to have, and that we chose Winston Churchill's speeches, of course, because he was born here at Blenheim. This family was his family. The 7th Duke and Duchess were his grandparents, the 8th Duke was his uncle, the 9th Duke was his cousin and close friend. But infinitely more important than any of that was the fact that his speeches are so mesmerising, and of course they even have relevance and resonance today. So we can use his speeches to teach people how to speak in public. So that was the thinking behind the public speaking.
What did Winston Churchill think about school? Did he enjoy school?
School. So he had quite a checkered career at school. When the first governess was employed when he was quite young, he thought his mother and father had simply got this completely wrong because school education got in the way of him. He was a very outdoors boy. He liked to go fishing, he liked to go riding here in the lake and in the park. And then worse than that, he was sent off to a fairly brutal school in Ascot, and because he wasn't, shall we say, the best behaved student, he did end up being beaten. And it was Nanny Everest who noticed the marks on his back and realised that this was affecting his health. So he was then removed and sent to a very gentle school in Brighton that was run by 2 spinsters, which he loved. Although when the Duchess, 7th Duchess, went to visit her grandson there, she soon realised and commented to Lord Randolph that Winston actually had more power than both headmistresses at this school. And then, of course, he went to Harrow, and there he did not necessarily cover himself with glory. It wasn't a complete disaster, though, because the subjects which he enjoyed, he did excel at. So he did excel at history, he did excel at English, and after considerable study and 3 attempts he did finally manage to get into Sandhurst to start his military career. So whilst education wasn't a great success, it did furnish him with the means to do what he wanted to do.
This is a very special year in the commemoration of Winston Churchill. Please could you tell us about that and how the palace is celebrating?
Yes, it's 50 years since Winston Churchill died, and so the palace is doing a few things to celebrate that. Inside the palace, we've completely redone the Churchill exhibition. So it's presented in a completely different way, it has new material, so that's very, very exciting. The visitors have been very pleased with it. Outside, the gardeners are creating a Churchill memorial garden, which starts at the Temple of Diana, where he proposed to Clementine Hosier in 1908, August 1908. And when it's finished, which should be early summer this year, the visitors can walk along a winding path and see in the stones in the ground landmarks in his career. And the palace has been involved in something called Churchill 2015, which is a worldwide committee, for want of a better word, or movement. And so Churchill is being celebrated all over the world, and Blenheim is part of that. And in the summer there's going to be a big Churchill conference here, and people from all over the world will come, so there'll be a Churchill dinner, there'll be speakers, Churchill events here. We're going to welcome hundreds of people here for Churchill Days, and weekly we put on, in this part of the season, Winston Churchill tours for the general visitors. So it's quite a lot going on.
Another amazing success for our school, Mukahang won the national writing competition set up by First Story for his poem on the topic of home. He received his award in London from the Duchess of Cornwall.
Congratulations, Akam. Before we find out about your poem and how you feel, tell us a little bit about the First Story competition.
The First Story competition is run by a charity called First Story, who help children express themselves through different forms of writing. And this year the competition was on the theme of home.
Why did you enter?
Well, I wrote this poem about 6 months ago for a lesson in geography because yes, the topic at the time was migration, and so I sent it to my school writing residents, Kate Conchi, who took a look at it and said we could actually work with this, and so we edited it and worked on it, and then we sent it into the competition.
How many people took part roughly?
I think this year there were over 3,000 entries from all over the country.
That's a lot.
As if this wasn't enough, talented students brought home a considerable amount of silverware from the mock magistrate competition held at Oxford Magistrates Court.
Welcome, Finn, our top liar and mock magistrates champion. Tell us, how does it feel to have won for Oxford Spires Academy?
Pretty cool, because I was a reserve and I kind of stepped in a few days before the actual competition. Well, lots of other people had lots of time, so the fact that I actually won was really cool.
Right, well it seems that Oxford Spires Academy has a successful streak in these type of things. Tell us, are you planning on studying law once you're older?
Yeah, we do have quite a successful streak. Last year, Jasmine won Best Legal Advisor, and before this competition I wasn't really considering doing law, but once I've done it, it's actually quite rewarding and enjoyable, like putting together the evidence and coming up with questions and stuff.
Wow, congratulations on winning. Thank you for coming here again. This is Sarah reporting for BBC School Newsreport.
Hello, this is Anna reporting for BBC School Report. Today I'm joined with Annie and Francis. Mock Magistrate is an inspiring court competition that takes place in a magistrate's court. It helps you see into the future about committing crimes and being truthful, and it's an influence on your job. I'm currently here with Annie, who was the winner of Mock Magistrate, and Francis, who was a magistrate in the actual competition itself. And a huge congratulations to them both for just recently winning the Blenheim Palace Public Speaking Competition. Well done to both of you. So in the actual Mock Magistrate competition, what roles did you each play, and why did you like it so much?
Well, I was an usher, and I decided to be an usher because a girl in the year above me had played the usher last year, and from what she said, it just sounded like the part that I really wanted to do.
Well, for me, there was a bit of confusion leading up to the competition, and I was assigned a number of different roles, but eventually I played a magistrate.
So what did you actually have to do in the competition itself?
As an usher, I was in charge of making sure that the whole case ran smoothly, and I had to make the witnesses repeat oaths.
As a magistrate, I had to listen to and take notes on every point that was made, and at the end, I went away into a little room with all of the other magistrates, and we considered the verdict of the case.
Well, that sounds amazing. Now let's see what they both have to say about Blenheim Palace. So what exactly did your speech involve in the competition?
The whole competition was based around Winston Churchill, as he grew up at Blenheim Palace. And we had a number of different topics to choose from, but in the end we went for a quote that he had said, and we disagreed with him on this case. It was about text and slang, text-speak slang and the evolution of language.
And Francis, apart from winning, what was the key highlight of the competition for you?
I think the whole team would definitely agree that the highlight of the competition was meeting Robert Hardy. He was one of the judges on the panel, and he's more commonly known for playing Cornelius Fudge in the Harry Potter films.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So how do you think everybody did on the whole then?
I think everyone was absolutely amazing. All the other schools were great, and they were obviously good enough to be winners as well.
Yeah. So, Francis, can you give us a few key reasons why you won this prize? And I see you've got both of your trophies here, one for the usher and one for the actual public speaking competition itself. So can you give us a few key reasons why you won the prize?
Well, I think the standards were very, very high, and there were many different speeches from other schools that were just as good as ours, and there was loads and loads of potential winners. But I think if there was one thing that might have set us forward, it was our question answers.
Yeah, they sound very good. Can you two then each give us a quick extract of your speech then?
Okay, shall I go first?
Okay.
For anyone who still believes we should ban text speak, I say, should you ban initials? After all, initials are abbreviations, and so what is text speak but abbreviations for convenience? And nobody is claiming that writing A instead of Annie is ruining our society.
Right.
Some people say that if you text often, you may become less good at formal reading or writing. This is incorrect. In fact, a study by the University of Alberta found that people who texted often were actually better readers academically.
Well, that's absolutely amazing. Now I can really see why you won. Well done to both of you. Congratulations. This is Anna reporting for BBC School Report.
Action. Breaking news. I believe Miss Croft has some amazing news for us on BBC News School Report Day. Over to you.
I've just received a letter from the Specialist Schools and Academies Trust to say that we have received an Educational Outcomes Award for being in the top 20% of the country in terms of progress. So that's based on GCSE results that happened in the summer, and we're all really proud. Fantastic work, Oxford Spires.
Thank you, Miss. BBC News Round came into our school today to meet Adam, a Year 7 student. Adam hopes to get a guide dog soon. We've been researching what it will be like to have a guide dog on site at school.
Hello, we are Ilona, Katie, Miranda and Max, reporting for BBC News School Report. And Adam in Year 7 will soon be getting a guide dog.
News Round came in yesterday to film. He and his sister Homer made a short video about it yesterday.
Joel from Guide Dogs and his guide dog Eleanor came in to help us do the report.
And in terms of food, what kind of food do you give the dog?
She has the iron dry food, dog food.
Oh, iron,
so that's just normal, good quality.
Yeah, good quality dog
quality
food.
dog food.
She might be
This is Joel, and in a few years I'm going to get a guide dog, and I want to know how it will be in the class. And yes, and we can ask a few questions, and how nice of him, he's going to answer all the questions. And yeah, so any of you got questions? Let's just start.
How would the dog go to the toilet?
Is
generally would go to the toilet on either grass or concrete. A guide dog, it's important that when you have a guide dog, you give a guide dog an opportunity to go to the toilet on a regular basis. A guide dog owner would give their dog a chance to go to the toilet before leaving the home, so that the dog doesn't distract, it isn't distracted when walking. Then there's a special command that we use to let the dog know that it's time for it to go to the toilet, and that is get busy.
Joel, when do you think is an appropriate time for getting a guide dog?
There is no minimum age limit, there's no minimum age requirements for a person applying for a guide dog. However, in order to benefit from a guide dog, you would need to be kind of looking at wanting to get out and about independently, because a guide dog is a mobility aid. So we would say that generally from about the age of 13, maybe a little bit younger, you could look to train with a guide dog, because that's when you start looking at going out and about on your own.
What happens if you've got the dog used to a routine and then you have to change it for some reason? What happens then?
Well, a guide dog is trained to walk in straight lines and guide its owner around obstacles such as lampposts, wheelie bins, A-boards. It's also trained to stop at curbs, steps, find doorways and road crossings. A guide dog does get used to certain routes, providing that route's done regularly. When going on a route that's unfamiliar to the dog and yourself, the dog would still make sure you didn't walk into roads, would make sure you stop at steps, and would make sure you avoid obstacles. It's up to a guide dog owner to know when to go left, when to go right, and when to cross the road.
So Joel, would it affect if the dog was in the class, or would it have to stay outside of the class?
A guide dog is trained to behave well, and it generally wouldn't be noticed by other students. It's trained to lay at the desk or beside a person beside its owner. There are some occasions where a guide dog wouldn't be in the class, and that could be in PE or woodwork or metalwork kind of classes. And in that instance, we would ask that the school have somewhere for the dog to go.
How does having a guide dog affect buying our property?
Having a guide dog shouldn't affect someone looking to rent or buy a property. Under the Equality Act 2010, it is against the law for a service provider or someone letting a property to refuse access to someone with a guide dog, because a person has a guide dog because they have a disability, in this case a vision impairment, and they can't discriminate against someone with a disability.
Today's elite athlete, Toby Goddard, has been at Oxford Spires inspiring our students. Students have been involved in the Sky Sports for Living programme. They took part in many gruelling circuits involving different training activities. Chad was lucky to get an interview with Olympic rower and triathlete Toby.
Can you tell us how you found being at Oxford Spires this afternoon?
I've really enjoyed being here all day. I've been telling them a little bit about my story, so the ups and downs of my rowing and triathlon career.
What is the Elite Athlete Mentor Scheme about?
Well, the scheme's about inspiring young minds to try and enable people to do things that they didn't think was possible. And if I think back to my childhood, it would have been great for me to have something that I could aspire to, and someone that can set goals and help me on my journey to success.
How did you personally find school? Did you get inspirational speakers in to see you when you were at school?
I do remember when I was at school, I do remember having a chap from England Rugby come in. But the difficulty I had is that as a very small boy, I saw this very tall guy, and he was telling me about his career, but I never thought that I would ever be that big. I never thought that I could aspire to anything he was talking about. And what I'd like to think with this mentoring work, it's not just about me coming in and doing a school talk and walking away. I work with the students to try and tell them about my career, and I show them pictures of me when I was half the size of you, and tell them, this is me, this is when I struggled with dyslexia, this is when I struggled being bullied, and look, now this is what I've achieved.
What inspired you to become an athlete?
I didn't enjoy my work in the classroom because I wasn't very good at it and I struggled with dyslexia. So I enjoyed stuff out in the sports field. I enjoyed things like we were doing today, the circuit class. I would have loved doing that. But I never thought I could be an Olympic athlete. It wasn't until I had a passionate sports teacher like you have at your school that enabled to just give me that push in the right direction. And once they gave me a little push in the right direction, I thought, actually, I can do this now.
We would like to thank you very much for working with us today. We feel privileged to have you in. This is Wakas reporting for BBC School Newsreport.
Thank you. More sports news. We are currently having a new gym built at Oxford Spires. Ella asked students what they thought about this.
Hi, I'm Ella, and our school is getting a new gym. So, Habiba, what do you think about this?
I think it's a great idea because our school is providing us a community gym for us.
Thank you. Hi, Libby.
Hi, Ella.
So, what do you think about this?
I think it's a quite good idea, but it's distracting people from their work, and it's taking up quite a lot of space.
Thank you. So, Sarah, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea, and considering how the PE facilities have been improving lately, I think the gym will be a great site.
Thank you. What do you think about this?
I think it's a great idea, but as Libby said, it could be a bit of a distraction.
Okay, thanks. Josie, what do you think?
I think it's a wonderful idea, because as it's a community gym, our family and friends can come along too.
Thanks. Ellie, what do you think?
I definitely think it's a great idea because there are lots of sports clubs going on after school, but there often isn't enough space to hold all of them at once.
Thank you. This is Ella reporting for BBC School Newsreport.
Mr. Fanchi, our head of PE, will be running the London Marathon for Mulberry Trust. Georgia interviewed him to find out more about the charity and how his training is going.
Students at OSA have been busy raising money for Mr. Fanchi's marathon run. They have been making collections, organising tuck shops, cake sales and a swear pot, and even a 12-hour rock marathon. Hello, Mr. Fanchi.
Hello.
How's the training going?
Training's going really well, thank you very much. I'm in week 9 now of a 16-week training programme. I've currently completed over 200 miles of the programme. My longest distance so far to date is 18 miles in any one run. I have a 20-mile run planned for next weekend, and I got to obviously get up to 26 miles on the day. So 20 miles will be the furthest I ever run as part of the programme, but it is going really, really well, thank you.
Have you found marathon training difficult?
Very difficult indeed. I have a background in long distance running. I've to date run over 600 miles before I started this training programme, just to give my body a chance to adapt and to develop up to marathon standard. But in the past I've never run more than 5 to 10 miles in any week. That's now changed, and I'm running between 25 and 30 miles every single week. 5 runs a week on average. It's very, very hard work, but worth it.
Do you think that being a PE teacher keeps you healthy?
Yes, it does. I mean, I'm active every day, teaching practical lessons anyway, and I think it's the job of a PE teacher to inspire other people and to be a good role model to the students within the school and other members of staff as well. So it would be wrong if I didn't look after myself and keep fit and healthy. But on top of that, on top of what the PE actually gives me in school, I do a lot of other training outside of school as well, because it's the sport that I enjoy the most.
How long is left until the marathon now?
7 weeks to go, 7 weeks on the programme. I'm 6.5 weeks actually. I'm halfway through week 9 at the moment of a 16-week programme.
Okay. Can you tell us why you're doing the marathon?
I'm doing the marathon for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's a personal challenge to myself. I like having challenges for my own fitness, and running a marathon is the ultimate challenge of what the human body can actually achieve. I've been saying for years I'd love to be able to run a marathon, and it's taken me this long to actually get around to doing anything about it. But secondly, I like entering events for charity. I've currently raised probably about £10,000 for different charities over the last 10 to 15 years. And this time round I'm running it for the Mulberry School, which is an absolutely fantastic charity.
Can you tell us more about the Mulberry School?
Yeah, the Mulberry School is a school in Oxford that is for traumatised children, so children that have suffered abuse of one way or another, and they can't go to mainstream school. They've been severely affected by the things that have happened to them, so they wouldn't have an opportunity to come to a normal school. It's for 3 to 13-year-olds, and they offer them residential care, so they would live at the school throughout the term time as well as the education, the counselling and everything else that goes alongside. They are a registered charity, so really the majority of their funding comes from people raising money for them. And it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to raise around about £2,000 for them.
What does the cause mean to you?
A lot. As a teacher, obviously working in a school, we take for granted the opportunities that our students in this school have. They're very, very lucky, they're very privileged to have what we would consider normal upbringings that enable them to come into a normal specialist school. I was very privileged to actually go to the Mulberry School recently and meet some of the students that are there, and they are very, very grateful for the work that the teachers, the staff, the psychologists and everybody else working within that school actually gives them the opportunity to live what we would consider to be a very, very normal life.
Okay, how can people donate to the cause?
There are two ways they can do it. First of all, I'm up in the PE office every day, and if anyone wants to come and give me cash donations, then they're more than welcome to do so, and I'll keep a running total and I keep a log of the names of everybody that donates to me. Secondly, I actually have an online account for anybody that has credit cards or debit cards and is able to transfer money online, and that is www.justgiving.com/MarkFanchi2015. And I'd like to say thank you to everybody so far within Oxford Spires Academy that has raised money for me. So far it's over £1,000 from this school towards my charity, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has been Georgia reporting for BBC School Report.
And finally, the Duchess of Cambridge expected a new baby, and she's in good company. We are very excited about this at Oxford Spires, as the Duchess is a patron of the Art Room scheme, which meets here, and she visited Oxford Spires 3 years ago. We asked students what they thought the Duchess would name her baby.
Hello, so you know there's a new royal baby on the way. What do you think it's going to be called?
Maybe Elizabeth.
Well, we've got so many. Don't you think that's a bit traditional?
Yes, but that's why it should be called Elizabeth, because it's a traditional name.
What do you think the new royal baby's going to be called?
Daisy, because not a traditional name, but it's a really nice name.
Princess Daisy. It's got a ring to it. So, you know there's a new royal baby on the way. What do you think it's going to be called?
Well, I don't know, but I have an idea. I thought we can call it Amelia, because Amelia, well, like for example, Amelia Earhart, she was extremely brave, and even though she died, she was really brave and she has courage. And the other reason why, it's just a nice name, and the third reason why is because it is a traditional name, an English name, but yeah.
That sounds really good.
Thank you very much. Well, it's Will's baby. I think it's going to be called Diana.
That's quite controversial, but still quite nice.
Well, yeah, he really misses his mum, and I think Catherine will relate to that.
Yeah. Princess Diana, that's got a very familiar ring to it.
That's all from us for BBC School Report Day 2015. So much is going on at our school, however, that we will be publishing a student newspaper, The Purple Print, to include all of the stories we have covered this term.
For now, it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.